after he does the ground smash, you can use Flipendo and smash his own club into his face. I was suited up as the troll in the mocap stage, and had a foam club, and I was just smashing myself in the face over and over again. And we tried that, and we also tried, having someone that wasn't in a suit, pulling it into my face. We had someone kind of give the resistance of the club as I was pulling, and then letting go and hitting myself. And so just a lot of different ways of trying to make it feel real and physical, but then also making it a magical thing where someone's doing a spell that hits a club into your face.
Hi, I'm Brendan Casey. I'm in House Slytherin, and I'm an associate animator.
I'm Kevin Chesnos. I'm the lead cinematic animator, and I'm a Gryffindor.
My name's Moira Rausch. I am a Slytherin, and I am a mocap technician.
My name is Matt Dibb. I'm a senior animator working mostly with enemies, and I am Hufflepuff.
As far as why we use mocap, for cinematic sake, getting the acting to be right is always the part with keyframe animation that you spend the most time on. Blocking, trying things out, getting it approved. When people are here acting it out and acting it out together, you can definitely more quickly move through the process of figuring out what you're making. And that's helpful. And especially when you have 2+ hours of cinematics that you're doing. Normally a feature length film is about 90 minutes, and we're well beyond that. And we can make that with a smaller crew and do it a little bit quicker, and then spend our time hopefully making it look as awesome as we can.
The visualization is something that you guys have always really liked about being able to jump in immediately and just see it on the floor.
There's nothing better than being able to work through your ideas as a group and do it right here on the floor and be able to see it in the game at the same time, which is also awesome that we can do that.
When you're on set and can brainstorm those things right there and try multiple different versions and see what it looks like on the character immediately, those are hugely beneficial. And you can have the person that's directing you or the director on set who had the idea or had the request, and you can do multiple different versions, and then you can kind of brainstorm together and say, hey, I like what you did there, but let's try this thing here. Because there's a lot of creatures in our game that we can't suit up a similar creature. We can't bring in, a tiger and put mocap
Don't ask me to do
dots
that.
on it. There's some animals that I have seen mocap before, like horses and different things like that. We haven't done any of that in this game, but there are a lot of creatures that you just can't do motion capture for. Dragons, there's no existing dragons that we can put a suit on and bring in the studio. As awesome as that would be.
That we know of.
That we know of yet, yeah.
And a lot of the time, the same way that we find those nice imperfections in human motion capture or bipedal motion capture, when we're looking at animals, a lot of the time the answer is how they actually move. How does a wolf move? When a frog jumps, how does it jump? So when we aren't using motion capture, we have to rely on actual reference and studying how that animal would move functionally.
On the game side of things, you're not worrying about so much the direct relationship between the characters that are much larger or much smaller than a human size. But in cinematics, we actually need to get that relationship solidified. And so the fact that we can be on the mocap stage and we can see in Unreal how we are relating to each other. So the actor could be playing a troll and another actor could be playing a human, and we can make sure that their eye lines are kind of lined up so they're looking closer to the right spot and they're interacting with the set. All that stuff can kind of be present. Makes it a lot easier for us, at least. It's less that we have to fix up on the other side. I think some of the challenges that might come are stuff like weight. A troll's gonna weigh, I wouldn't actually determine what weight a troll is, but it's gonna be a lot heavier than the human is. And so trying to get that weight to come across the right way might be a challenge, and same on the opposite side of being a house elf that's just a lot smaller.
Something I like that you guys would do that would, I think, help ground us, but also get some of the magic in, is you'd do small, medium, and large reactions to things. So you'd start off with we'd do a bunch of takes, and we'd start off with really simple, kind of mundane, real world reactions to things and real world like scenes, and then you'd slowly get it a little bit more ridiculous, a little bit more weird, add in some extra step movements, some anything. And so you'd get to just kind of merge those together or pick one of your favorites. And so you just got to go through all of that and work your way through all of the different levels that you had.
Once we get the mocap that we do like, then you also take it into animation and adjust it and make it faster or slower or heavier where it needs to be. So it's kind of a marriage between all those things to make it feel magical, but also make it feel like this is something that could really happen in the real world. So.
We also get to lend a lot to the fact that magic is the magical part of it. So I think an important thing that I try to think about when I'm animating enemies getting hit by something is the magic is magical. How would you react in a real situation if you got struck by lightning? If you were lit on fire, how someone would actually respond to the magic happening, I think is an important part of mixing the real and the magic.
We talk about different spells. I mean, they're imaginary spells that we're doing on stage here, but often we do little things like have someone behind them with a big pad hitting them backwards so it feels more impactful when they're getting hit by something. And sometimes it is better to just act it out by yourself and that hit reaction, and then go into animation and speed it up at the beginning so it feels more impactful.
You know, I know for me, I've got an opportunity to work on a lot of cool projects, and this one honestly is no different. Like, I loved the Harry Potter films, and you know, something that I really loved about them was just that feeling that Harry constantly experienced of like, wow, what, you know, magic is so cool. It's nice to be a part of that, and hopefully everyone else feels the same way when that they too feel like that was something spectacular, and they're kind of left in awe.
Working on Hogwarts Legacy has been, you know, a dream come true. It's the wizarding world in general, and the Harry Potter films are so iconic and so loved by so many fans. And there's such a charm to the world and charm to the characters and the use of magic, and just creates a world that people want to live in. And that's the exciting thing about this game, I think, is it kind of gives people that opportunity that this is my chance to walk around in Hogwarts and lead my own adventure in this world that I've always wanted to be in. So to be a part of making that and bringing that to life has just been so exciting and so fun.
I keep telling people whenever they ask me about this game that this is it. You get to actually be a wizard, go to school, wander around the world in places you've never seen. And it is exactly the kind of magic that a lot of people who read the books and watched the movies were looking for when they were younger. I loved that on the mocap side, since we were working directly with the actors, we got to add in all these little details and stuff to different parts of the castle, like the kitchen and the background of the Great Hall. We got to go like, okay, what would these students do now? Like, what do regular students do? What do magical students do? Like, they would throw magic paper at each other and do all these weird things. We got to add that in ourselves. So I just feel like a lot of heart went into this game, and I got to put a lot of myself into the game, and I feel like everyone's going to love it because it's exactly what like your inner child would have wanted when you were younger.
So if you asked Brendan in college what the first project he would ever work on as a professional animator, you could have given him a million guesses, and I would have never dreamed of something like Hogwarts being the first project I got to work on. I was such a fan as a kid. So getting to be here and actually working on it and being in the game, and you're not watching Harry Potter be a wizard, you're a wizard. A fine enough point can't be put on it how much heart people have put into this game to make sure that the fans get to be a wizard or a witch. And I'm just so grateful that I get to do this every day.